Tonight on FTN today, we have some explosive reports coming out from Real Madrid and Bayern Munich as both clubs look to smash and break the summer transfer window. Here's everything you need to understand around the biggest stories emerging today. So I hope you guys enjoy. Hit that like button and let's break down today's crazy ass news. We start things off by discussing Real Madrid and Real Madrid's presidential hopeful in Florentino Perez. As we know, on the 7th of this month will be the end for the race between Florentino Perez or Enrique Riquelme becoming the new president of Real Madrid. And Florentino Perez, who has skin in this game, he's been at the helms now at Real Madrid for the last 23 years. He is coming out with a crazy bold vision for Real Madrid again. And this guy is the expert at understanding how to build the next dynasty Galactico team. He is the best in the business in ensuring this. And he's made Real Madrid what they are. So to start with things, Florentino Perez revealed Madrid will make a 150 mil bid on Tuesday for a top player from a Champions League team. Now, this had the entirety of the internet speculating on who exactly these players could be. And there's a few on this list, some massive names. And as Perez is revealing, these are the type of players that he feels are on the same level as Ronaldo and Kaká when he signed them over 10, 15 years ago. Right now. So I'm going to break down all the stories coming out so you guys can understand everything Perez had to say. And as Perez reveals, because he understands Madrid's legacy, he understands what makes Madrid a special team, I will bring more players. Everyone who knows me knows that great players want to play for Real Madrid, and I want to bring them in. I will make it happen. You're seeing the capitals from Romano. Yeah, Florentino Perez is not playing around right now. Of course, my goal is to excite the fans and bring the best players to Real Madrid. I think Madrid's entire business model is kind of centered around the ownership of Galacticos. It gets the sponsor money. It gets the image rights. It makes them the biggest club in the whole world. He knows how to work with superstars. He knows exactly what Real Madrid needs. Yeah, I'm really excited, and I'm not even a Real Madrid fan. This is the crazy thing. To continue on, this 150 mil player is a young player. He is a Galactico, and he revealed that this Galactico is in the same breath of Cristiano Ronaldo and Kaká when Madrid signed them over 15 years ago. There's more. We believe your 150 mil superstar is not a forward, asked one journalist. Because you already have Mbappe, you have Vinny. How's this going to work? Perez says, well, in Madrid, you always need more. I don't know why I'm so gassed. He reveals the 150 million deal is not a defender. It could be a midfielder or a forward. Is this Perez understanding, you know what? He will do everything in his power to pull off this sensational deal. But let's say one move doesn't materialize. There has to be an additional backup superstar that they have to go for if the first one does not go through. So realistically, it's a midfielder or a forward right now. And as he says here, the one we send on Tuesday will be a club record bid. We are ready to pay over 150 million. Over 150 million. Let those words settle in. They are ready to absolutely blow this market up. And could they rival the record set by PSG when they signed Neymar from Barcelona all those years back? As we know, the player is on the same level of Kaká and Ronaldo, and the 150 mil bids will not be for a Premier League player, which I guess might rule out Enzo Fernandez. Of course, there's been much conversation between Madrid and Enzo's camp and agent over materializing a move. I got some thoughts on that later on. And currently, this is everything that we are understanding around Real Madrid's ambitions in this summer window. But of course, the internet was speculating there's only a few players who are good enough to kind of fall into this 150 mil category. You're seeing it on screen, but Vitinha and Neves were seen as two big players Real Madrid could potentially turn to. These are some of the reports that have been confirmed now, as we are seeing from Spain. And of course, the main three Galacticos, Olise, Vitinha, or Neves. Now, the Prem players, of course, that he disproved aren't going to be Haaland or Doku or anyone at all. But maybe Neves and maybe Vitinha make a bit more sense in regards to Florentino Perez's claims. Now, Vitinha currently has 140 mil valuation, and he has 3 years left in his deal. So potentially there is something here to kind of make a move happen. And Joao Neves is world class, has many admirers at Real Madrid. But in my opinion, you guys, do Madrid need Neves when they already have Valverde? Unless they're looking to do completely different things in midfield. But I don't necessarily feel he would be the right candidate. That makes the most sense, unless you're kind of moving on other big players. I think for me, the main two ones will be Olise and Vitinha, because Vitinha adds what Madrid need. They need that linchpin that connects the defense into midfield and then orchestrates the attack. They need an all-phase type of player, and Vitinha has been the linchpin of Luis Enrique's ideas. And for those reasons, I do not think PSG will entertain any offers, because they don't have to. They don't have to at all. He is that central to the tactical setup and plans. There's no one in the market that can replace him. And one thing that I always believe in and say all the time, the best clubs sign the best players in the world. Big clubs that compete have access to the top stars, and the top stars are the most unique stars. The market isn't full of 10 different Vitinhas. There are some guys that maybe, if things work out, can maybe touch the cusp, but they won't completely embody what the Vitinha brings or what the superstar brings in the game. And it's the goal of the best clubs in the world to constantly compete for honours, to try and attract the very small selection of genuine, incredible stars in the game. This is how the game operates on. This is how the game works, yeah? Otherwise, you know, your Atletico Madrids and your Inter Milans, yeah, squad football takes you so far when you kind of work hard and believe in something. But it doesn't generate consistent success. It never does that. And the success they eventually get comes when the big clubs have their transitional years. That's how the game works, because the best players make the difference in the moments. So I hope you guys are getting where I'm coming from. But this is why I believe that Vitinha will be an incredibly difficult move for Real Madrid to pull off, because there's no way PSG can replace him in regards to what they need for their system. So that's everything surrounding these two. But now let's focus on the main man right now, because there are some sensational reports developing surrounding Michael Olise. Now, as we are seeing, man, it's confirmed that the player that Perez is talking about in regards to this bid coming on Tuesday is Olise. Now, he denied it in his statements yesterday, but you're going to deny that. You're not going to make it obvious. You're going to keep things wrapped up and behind the scenes. But again, when you're throwing around statements like this, you kind of narrow down who people should imagine it's going to be. And this has now been confirmed by outlets like The Telegraph and from Spain, and being, you know, co-signed to by Fabrizio Romano. Perez plans to launch a 150 mil official bid on Tuesday for Olise, but Bayern Munich, they're saying no. No chance to sell, not even for 200 million euros. So the game is on, the challenge is on. But if there's one club that will not be deterred by Bayern's natural reluctance to kind of, you know, work on a transfer deal, it is going to be Real Madrid. And come on, Bayern Munich, let's be serious, man. You've forever been the feeder club to Real Madrid. I'm a Chelsea fan. We've also been feeder clubs to Real Madrid. Courtois, Hazard, Rudiger. That's how the natural order of the game works. So Olise is very respectful. He won't outright kind of put in a transfer request. And I'm going off how he left Crystal Palace. He was more than happy to sign a new deal when the first move to Chelsea did not go through, because that ensured more money when the new release clause was set. So this is someone who's very respectful to work under the structures imposed on him. So Real Madrid will really have to come in some serious crazy money to make some things happen. But let's actually continue on with these reports on Olise. Of course, Madrid will look to launch the audacious bid for him on Tuesday. Perez publicly denied everything, of course. There is interest in other targets, but Olise, whether he can be prized from Bayern remains to be seen. But now that Madrid are making outlandish statements, Olise will have Madrid on his mind. That was why Perez did this. He knows that Bayern are going to play hard. But if you have Olise now thinking about making the move to Real Madrid, the greatest club in the world, let's keep it real, that will make Bayern's position even harder, because Olise either does two things in his career, right? He either maybe makes a return back to the Premier League just because he's, born in London, or he upgrades his career and he goes to Real Madrid. They're the only two things he can do. And of course, the third one being just remaining at Bayern Munich forever. But the best players at Bayern never stay there forever. Eventually, because they're just completing the Bundesliga for fun all the time, they need to leave. They need to taste pastures new, and they need to kind of have a new challenge. And I think Real Madrid is the ultimate challenge. As you can see from how Toni Kroos left Bayern for free to become one of the most legendary midfield players in recent memories. So yeah, man, this is the type of news that all of us are here for in the summer window. This is like bombastic stuff. And I'm going to explain why I think that Olise makes perfect sense for Real Madrid to target in the summer window. Now, it's been revealed for a very long time, multiple reports throughout the year, that Madrid ideally wants a right winger. That is a key priority for themselves. Rodrigo's injuries over the last year and a half has really kind of scuppered a lot of things. And at times, many Madrid fans felt like he wasn't naturally maybe the best suited fit long-term playing right wing. Fede Valverde, he's also been played as a makeshift right midfielder, right winger for many of the greatest moments at Real Madrid these last few years, but long term, that is not his position. He wants to be influencing things from midfield. They tried with Tuna, who's now set to get a loan move this summer, but he doesn't have the type of pace that's needed to kind of do justice to that type of role, and he's definitely very raw and can do with more consistent minutes. So when it comes to being a right winger that Real Madrid can target, the options aren't really there, because Real Madrid don't just sign okay players, they sign the very best. That is the legacy they've created for themselves, and it's no surprise that Olise is the one they're turning to. It's been revealed that Perez fell in love with Olise when Bayern played against Real Madrid, and I'd imagine that curling effort at the end to make it 4-2 second leg was what kind of sealed the love affair for Florentino Perez. To play for Real Madrid, man, you have to be a game changer. You have to be a match breaker. I keep dropping these bars in every video because that is what matters for the pinnacle teams in the world. And Olise showed in the Champions League, for me, one of the best individual performances we've seen in recent memory, I have to say, because he was putting in 8.5s out of 10 on every basis during the knockout rounds. That's how influential he is. I'm happy for him. Personally, I was very upset that Chelsea never signed him. He had two great efforts to get him, and we fumbled it because we don't have the mentality that the super clubs have. We're pretenders in this aspect. I got to be honest about my club, but just seeing how he developed through the ranks, what he was doing at Crystal Palace, the incredible relationship between himself and Eze, but also the fact that this was someone changing games. That free kick goal against Man United. Yeah, helping Crystal Palace to their first cup success alongside Eze. Yeah, the skills, the moments, you couldn't defend against him. I could see this was someone who had a special trajectory where he could be going right to the very top. And he was very smart in the end to sign for Bayern Munich, who did not waste time in getting this deal wrapped up over the lines. And now I would say he's their most influential player, which is a big thing. So when you're becoming the main star for your team, Madrid will come knocking. And I think this potential front three we could see in Vini, Mbappe, Olise. People will talk about the lack of work rate up front. It does not matter. The work rate will have to come from the rest of the team. Yeah, Jude Bellingham, get ready to start playing deeper. Valverde, get ready to start curtailing your third man runs as well. And personally, Tchouaméni, I think, could be a very big player for Madrid. And maybe another addition as well to kind of link the phases, to play the passes, to find this new front three. Olise, I think, would be a great complementary figure because he knows how to play inside and out, and he offers that playmaking ability and skill that could complement that Madrid front three. I think Mbappe showed good signs last season that he can be maybe the main striker. And of course, Vinny Jr., he's just not going anywhere. He's one of the greatest players in the world right now. But the main challenge will be how quickly these players form a partnership and relationship together. Because a lot of times, man, you have to strip down egos to be able to make these types of moves. You have to strip the egos down to make the partnership work. That's how this game works. You have to take it in turns in elevating your teammate and not just chasing glory yourself. So not only is Olise fixing that right-wing problem at Real Madrid, but I think he could be a great glue between Vinny and Mbappe because he can play the passes to find them and to support them. And I think he relishes playing in this particular part of his game. So that's everything surrounding Olise. You guys share your thoughts and opinions because right now we're going to end things with a massive story that's now developing. And yeah, man, this window is absolutely no joke, bro. It's crazy. And we're learning that Bayern Munich are now exploring a potential move to sign Rio Ngumoha. You guys are hearing it first, man. This window is going to be absolutely bonkers. Bayern clearly must be feeling that Olise could bounce. They have to understand the reality. And I think Nguhoma is a sensational move to try and target. It's a surprise one. He's 17 years old, extremely young, but this was the same age in which Bayern signed Musiala from Chelsea's academy. And they integrated him very early in that first team, and Musiala became a player that helped them win many, many titles and do big things. And I think to myself here, if Musiala was available in the Champions League as if he was fully fit and fresh, I think the game against Madrid could have been a bit different. No, sorry. I mean, the games against PSG, I mean, could have been very different because he's one of the best attacking players on the planet. And Nguhoma is aware of Bayern's strong interest, which is driven by Vincent Kompany. The Anfield club insists he is not for sale, and they plan to enhance their options of the pitch rather than diminish him. So I don't know what that means. As we know, they're heavily looking towards Yan Jamande, but the reality is that means that Nguhoma's game time could definitely be affected, and I think Bayern Munich are sensing this opportunity. He only signed his first pro deal, and his contract expires in 2020. There's 2 years left. This is the best move for him. Bayern were incredibly smart signing Luis Diaz from Liverpool because they didn't give him enough money to keep him, and they paid the price for that. And they're sensing another opportunity where Nguhoma can be great competition, get tons of game time and opportunities, and eventually become that successor down the left flank. So this is the price you pay when you don't want to kind of use the youth talent you already have. You know, Nguhoma is only 2 years behind Yan Jamande. Imagine if Nguhoma was playing for Leipzig instead of Yan. He'd probably have similar numbers, but Liverpool are more tempted to spend over 100 million again on him, other than using a player that could definitely be worth that money in the next few years. So yeah, it says a lot, man. But Bayern, you know, Lennart Karl, Nguhoma, Musiala, Diaz, they have some incredible talents emerging right now. And I think Nguhoma would probably be the best type of deal for these guys to get done. Now, we're getting some reports from Plettenberg that Nguhoma has been the secret candidate at Bayern for a long time. And Bayern have already reached a verbal agreement to try and sign him. You guys are hearing it. Let me actually show you guys this on screen so you know that I'm not capping. But Bayern, courtesy of Plettenberg, have reached a full agreement with this camp back Tuesday, 22nd of May. Damn, it's it's absolutely crazy. But again, Vincent Kompany, man, he's trying to make this happen. I think Bayern can get this done. The fact the verbal agreement's there and it's public knowledge now is going to heavily jeopardize Liverpool's ability to keep him anymore. But that's the thing, man. Your options are on other players. You have Florian Wirtz, you have Ekitike and Isak. There's too much talent. There has to be balance. And I don't think Nguhoma wants to be the sacrificial lamb in these circumstances. So my friends, man, we could be seeing some massive, massive stories developing. Let's watch the space. Share your thoughts and opinions and everything. And I'll catch you guys with more massive updates tomorrow. Love.